Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to the first of the actual ship series of how to master your ship. And we're gonna skip the tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the British light cruisers because, let's be honest, they're nothing but a learning curve. And you sort of come to the pinnacle of the super light, no bow armor cruisers at the Leander, and you can use the skills and the tactics we're going to highlight during this match to play all of the original ships. I'm actually using out of the two builds that we used, I'm actually using Bruce Fraser in the Leander at the moment, which is giving me the extended range, as you can clearly see. Now I am in a division with Osh Rocker. Some of you may or may not have not know him, but for those of you in the know, it's Will. So we've had a couple of games together, and I'm sure he's going to be quite happy that he's actually in the video. Hopefully, we'll get him on stream again sometime real soon. So we're pushing A. We have got a destroyer. As you can see, what I'm initially doing is I'm using the island. I'm trying to keep the island between me and as many of the other ships as I can spot that are going to get spotted by the destroyer as possible. You don't want to get seen. You don't want to be the lead ship ever going into a confrontation. The British cruisers are definitely, they're high DPM support ships, but unfortunately we did get spotted by the Königsberg, and I think that's an emerald over there, unfortunately for him. So as you can see, they're pushing around the island. There's a destroyer here, so I'm gonna push, because one thing the British cruisers are extremely good at is deleting destroyers and deleting other cruisers, particularly other cruisers that are stupid enough to try and push you. So there's the torpedoes. They're no real issue for us. We're giving it a bit of a turn, and another destroyer decides to enter the fray and wants to get himself ended pretty quickly. Unfortunately, we score absolutely no hits with that salvo, but there's the T-61 kindly rears his head again. Okay, not the best hits, but we get a few off him, and that's when the Emerald pushes round. So the Emerald is the bigger threat to us. He's fired his torps, 2 Citadel hits. He's just sitting there sailing broadside to a British cruiser. He obviously has not mastered his ship. There we go, another 2 Citadel hits. We're going to fire the torpedoes, but I don't think the torpedoes are actually going to be needed. We're going to... well, they are. Our guns didn't get around quick enough, and we used our torpedoes to absolutely hammer him, scoring us 35,000 damage. And this is the only time you ever want to push. If there was a battleship there, I would have been finding an island, sitting behind it, using my torpedoes for an ambush. And that's when the Königsberg made the right move. The Königsberg didn't stupidly push himself around the island, but he did push back onto Will in his battleship. Okay, Will does take a hit from a torpedo there, but he's going to punish that Königsberg very quickly, and this is allowing us to push round and put some pressure on these destroyers. There we go. The Icarus bizarrely fires his guns, so we're trying to see what sort of angle he's at. Just in case I didn't cover this previously, because this is the first of how to master your ship series. Fear Attacker picks up the kill on the Königsberg. British ships, British cruisers, okay, apart from the heavy cruisers, which at the moment we have the Exeter and we have the we have the Belfast as the light cruiser. Light cruisers, Belfast is the exception. All the others have semi-armor piercing rounds, so you can only fire armor piercing, and goodbye Icarus. There we go. Should have never have opened fire, should you? But other cruisers and other destroyers are your main targets. You always want to be, you never want to be the main focus of the enemy, because especially in these lower tiers, you don't have very good bow armor, you don't have very good side armor, and well, yeah, you can take a lot of damage really quickly. But the point is, stay hidden, or not so much hidden. Don't be the main target, and use your damage output, your high DPM, to absolutely melt everything that comes your way. So I am going to push hard here, because there's a couple of our ships in B, and those ships in B are going to be the priority target. They're going to be there first, they're going to be seen well before me, and hopefully they're going to distract the enemy, and we will be able to capitalize on the situation. So bear with me a minute whilst we get round there. It might take us a little while. We're trying to scope just in case we can shoot over the mountains, but unfortunately not. Ooh, we might get a shot off on this Aoba, but that is a stab in the dark, really. Trying to judge it to see if we could get a hit on him, and unfortunately not. And that Dallas is just out of our reach, so the Bayern is going to become the primary focus. And as you can see, this is turning into a bit of a washout. We've lost 2 ships. The enemy have lost 5 currently, and it's not going to get any better for them anytime soon. And now this is something. This goes for all of the British light cruisers. Okay, you can't see where I'm aiming now, but you always want to aim high on battleships. You always want to go for the superstructure. You're not, because you've got semi-armor piercing, they've got so much side armor, you're just not going to do anything. You're going to hit the side armor of a battleship, and you're just going to ricochet and bounce, or it's not going to do anything. So aim up, aim for the superstructure. And because of the semi-armor piercing, where you'd get overpens on the superstructure, usually this is where you'll get the penetrations instead. And you can, like, you're not going to do a 10,000 damage salvo on a battleship, but you might do 5. And you might do 5 every time you fire. So there's 5 every 7 seconds. So it's pure DPM. You know, okay, you can knock out other cruisers with citadels, but you know, we're not talking about cruisers. We've seen what happened to a cruiser when it sails out broadside to a British cruiser, and yeah, it's never ever going to end well for them. And that's when the Dallas decides to enter the fray, and yep, the shot's out on the Dallas. Alright, not the best. We had 1 penetration, but as you can see, he is now pushing in on our destroyer, and our destroyer does hit him with a torpedo, but a destroyer against an American light cruiser, this is probably not going to go in the destroyer's favour. So we decide to push over and give him some support. You know, he may or may not have been able to kill him, but well, yeah, Citadel, not the most accurately placed shot, because we did fire before he pushed out, and we know he's dead, so we already start turning and focusing our guns on the Bayern, who has now disappeared, and we have lost another 2 ships. So we're doing reasonably well, 45,000 damage, but we've picked this gameplay because 1, Will's in here, and 2, I think we've played it right. So that Aoba is lurking around on the corner of that island. We're going to try and get some shots over there. We're going to remain unspotted, and clearly they are focused their firepower elsewhere. And we get a couple of hits. Nothing too drastic, but hopefully we'll get some shots on this Bayern and show you exactly how to do damage to battleships. The Oba's turning. He's he's edging himself away. And again, we've lost more ships. It's down to a 4v2. It's starting to go in the enemy's favour. What should have been an absolute blowout, which it is on points. We've captured 2 out of the 3 bases. I'm actually capping the 3rd base now. And just trying to see if we can put a little bit of a hurt in on this Ioba before we go down. And that's when the Bayern pops up. We get spotted. So this is the first time in this match that we are going to use our smoke. And the Bayern completely misses us. We take another stab at that Ioba, but it's the Bayern now. This is where we want to start causing some damage. So notice where I'm aiming. I'm aiming a little bit higher than normal. And all right, first salvo, not the best. But we've got all our guns facing now. And see, look at that, like 5,000 damage. 7 seconds later, another salvo off. The Bayern's trying to hit us in the smoke. Alright, 1,500 damage. You're not always going to get the maximum you can. And we did score a bit of damage there. You could see our damage points racking up. But unfortunately, the Bayern disappeared on us. And we were unable to do any more damage. So we're going to try shooting at the Ioba. The Bayern's hidden behind the island. There's not much we can do about him right now. And Will is going to push out because the Ioba is going to be broadside to him. So if Will can get himself around that corner and get shots off, that Ioba is going to be in trouble. And we're seeing where our last shell's fired and landed, and trying to finish off that Ioba, but we do score a hit, but it is a bounce, and unfortunately we're left loitering, and we're going to try and push up on this Bayern. And yeah, the Bayern is getting awfully close to us. We're asking Will where the Bayern's guns are pointing, and the Bayern is looking, as you can see, he's not looking towards us. He's not paying attention, and this is where we're going to capitalise on the British British cruisers torpedoes. I'm going to fire them and get some more light damage, and game ends. It's a little bit of an unfortunate one, but I thought it highlighted some pretty important things. As you can see, XP wise, we done pretty well. That's 2,400 base XP, and we only done 60,000 damage, and most of that came from the first blood. But it shows you don't want to engage battleships directly unless it's really close range and you're planning on wiping them out with your torpedoes. And push destroyers and cruisers. If you find a pair of cruisers on their own, you always want to push, and always go bow in, because if you show your broadside, you see what happened to that emerald, you're going to get deleted really quick. So we're going to move on to the Fiji and then onto the Edinburgh, and this is where we get into the really interesting part of British cruisers. The Fiji is, in my opinion, and I will happily fight anyone over it who says any different, the Fiji is by far the best tier 6 cruiser besides the Belfast. And that's a bit of a coin flip, because alright, you get HE, I'm not really one for spamming HE, but you lose torpedoes. But it does give you that little bit more flexibility, because it does have the radar as well and the smoke. So that's a powerful and an interesting conversation that we'll have in the next one. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a bit of an insight into the British cruisers, and yeah, get ready to see what's to come, because when we hit tier 6, things get a lot different really quick. So until next time, take care.